There are six what I call the what I saw statements. Solomon had made up his mind he was going to find out what the secret to life on earth was, how to be happy and get the best out of this life here on earth. And all the way through the book, he keeps coming back to saying, okay, so here's what I found. First one is in chapter 2, verse 24, and it's where he says, "Nothing is better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor." Uh, that's his first conclusion after trying some things. He says, "There's nothing else better to do in life here on earth than to enjoy life, enjoy the good of his labor." Now, we know that there's conditions to that. You have to do it within moral realm and that sort of thing. But as far as living a successful life here, to be happy, that's the first conclusion. The next one is found in chapter 3 and verse 12, where he says, "I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and to do good in their lives, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It's the gift of God." And so 2 out of 6 times he says, you're supposed to enjoy life. That's what God gave it. It's a gift from God to be able to do that. But here he adds that part where he says, and to do good. That's part of it. Obviously, God's not going to bless you if you may be having fun doing some riotous thing, which is maybe your definition of fun, but that's not what he's talking about. Just enjoy what God has given you. Everything that you've worked for, enjoy that. God gave you that as a gift. Then the next one, the third one, chapter 3 and verse 22, he said, "So I perceived, or I saw, that nothing is better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his heritage." That's what we inherit from God, is the enjoyment of enjoying the fruits of our labor, taking the best use out of them, letting them give us pleasure. Then the next of the 6 statements, number 4, is chapter 5, verse 18. "Here's what I've seen. It is good and fitting for one to eat and drink and to enjoy the good of all his labor, in which he toils under the sun all the days of his life, which God gives him, for it's his heritage. For every man to whom God has given riches and wealth and given him the power to eat of it, to receive his heritage and rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God." The word heritage means what you inherit. We inherit these things from God. He's the owner of everything, but he can give us whatever he wants out of his own things. We can inherit from him because that's what he put us on this earth for, or at least that's part of it. He wants us to enjoy life. So he says that for the 4th time. Now the 5th time, chapter 8, verse 15, "So I commended enjoyment, because a man has nothing better under the sun than to eat and drink and be merry, for this will remain with him in his labor all the days of his life, which God gives him under the sun." Again, just saying the same thing over again. It's good. I commended enjoyment. It's good to enjoy life. That's what God, that's the blessing that he gives us under the sun, is to enjoy the fruits of our labor. And then the 6th and last one is in chapter 9 and verse 9. Live joyfully with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life, which he has given you under the sun, all your days of vanity, for that is your portion in life and in labor which you perform under the sun. So at the same time as he's saying your vain life and you live your days of vanity. Vanity means emptiness. All in all, your life here on earth is just that. It's just here on earth. It has no bearing, just living life on earth without considering about the future and that sort of thing. It doesn't get you anywhere. There's no profit to it. You come with nothing, you leave with nothing. You haven't profited whatsoever as far as life under the sun is concerned. Just enjoy what you have. But what he had said, and I wish I could, well, I can do it with the mouse. What he had said in Ecclesiastes in the 12th chapter, the very end of it, he said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Here is the ultimate conclusion of life under the sun. Fear God and keep his commandments. Here's why. This is man's all. It's everything for a person. That's what he's here for, is to fear God, to reverence God and keep his commandments. Now, he's said 6 times already, enjoy it, enjoy life. Now, what did Jesus say about his commandments? That they're really hard? No, he says, my burden is light. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. We only make it hard when we get a mindset that we want to do things opposed to it. If we have the right attitude towards God, if we reverence him and respect what he says, it's easy to do what he wants us to do. And that's our purpose, to fear God, keep his commandments, and enjoy it while you're doing it. And he says, then here's why we want to keep his commandments, because God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. There's nothing that you can do that God doesn't see, that God doesn't know about, and we'll be judged based on what we do. Everything that all our works, everything that we do, he's going to judge us for that. And so the most important thing while you're living life under the sun is to fear God and keep his commandments. And along with that, over and over again, he said, enjoy life. That's what you're here for. You don't have to be like these Buddhist monks who, set themselves on fire, or, Catholic monks that go on these, they take an oath of poverty or oath of celibacy and put themselves through a lot of stuff where that's not what God said to do. He said, enjoy the fruits of your labor. But that's how this book ends up, is enjoy life, but remember, you got to answer to God for the way you live your life. And there's different kinds of ways to enjoy life. And the one that he's talking about is while you're keeping in line with God, while you're doing it. So with that in mind, I keep trying to see if this is going to work. Hey, good, it did. Why it started, I don't know, but
number 4. It was kind of an accumulation of everything.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. He kept adding and adding and adding.
Yeah, you're right. He does build onto it and just keep making sure that we know what's common in all of them is enjoy life. But he throws in some other things. It's important to do good in your life, and remember where it comes from. It comes from God. God's the one that gives us to us, and so you want to respect that and be thankful for that. So he has these 6 statements. Now I have some discussion questions that I want you guys to talk about. First one is, why did Solomon call himself the preacher? Right at the very beginning, he says, preacher, which is Hebrew word koheleth, which just means exactly that, a preacher. Why did he call himself that? I thought he was a king. Sue?
Well, he's preaching what God wants you to know. And that's what a preacher does. He stands up and tells you what the Bible says. Now, he didn't have the Bible, but he was given the gift of the wisest man on earth. And so he could impart any wisdom that he wanted, which is what a preacher does. He imparts wisdom.
Okay. Anybody have another spin on it or anything else to add, Randy?
Like when he received, from what I've heard, is when he received the authority to be the king, he also asked God for wisdom. And he asked God for those gifts, and God gave it to him. So to me, that's why he was able to call himself the preacher.
Okay. All right. Both of those things are good things. Anybody else have a thing? One thing that I think to put it in a, make it more personal. Who's he talking to? He's talking to his son, and there's many different ways to talk to your son. You can talk to him as a coach, as a friend, as a father, but then you can also preach to him. This is what you should do, what you should not do, whatever. He's putting himself in that role. I'm preaching to you, Solomon or Rehoboam, and so he's just setting the stage. Okay, Rehoboam, I'm gonna start a discussion here, and I'll be preaching to you, so that he doesn't have any question in his mind, and so that's why he calls himself the preacher. Okay, so second question: what is the theme of Ecclesiastes?
Enjoy life while you're here on this earth, because you can't take anything with you.
Okay, very good. Enjoy life while you're here. You're not taking anything with you, and he just says it over and over again, following this exact same theme. Anybody have anything to add to that? It's really not, I guess, not much you can add to it. She said it pretty good. Number 3, who was Solomon writing to primarily? Rehoboam. We actually just answered that question just in the process of these first 2 questions. So he's writing to him. So we need to keep that in mind as you go through the book. The next one, question 4, is, what does the phrase vanity of vanities mean?
We said empty was vanity, but
Empty of empties? I mean,
Okay,
it's nothing. I mean, nothing comes from what you're doing.
okay.
Sorry.
He's kind of repeating vanity twice, just saying. Yeah, it's
The worthless.
life is empty. That's what life on earth is when you look at it from the perspective that he's looking at it. And why do you think he is looking at it from this perspective? Pardon?
He has a bitter heart. He may know this, but he has a bitter heart. It's worthless to be thinking the way I am, but I've got it put in there. I've got the Spirit of God gave it to me now. I don't see I'm just thinking it's worthless. But then he really knows the truth, so he can't help it. It's like you can't help when the Spirit of God's there, you can't help but speak it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think what he's trying to impress on Rehoboam, first of all, and to us, And the reason he's saying it is because we try to make too much out of life. We make it the goal, you know, collect everything we can and, all this kind of stuff. We make life the goal. And he's trying to emphasize that's not the answer. He had gathered more wealth than anybody else, at least any of the children of Israel had ever had. And any of the kings, David, any of them, he had more wealth than any of them. And it didn't get him happiness. And so he's trying to emphasize it's all nothing. It's all meaningless. Don't get so excited uh, about this life because it's not the end. We just need to enjoy what we have. What we get. You don't have to accumulate tons of stuff because you're not going to take it with you. It's just he just wants everybody to understand life is not it. You're here for a reason, and God's blessing you while you're here. Just enjoy while you have it, but it's not it. Sue, did you have a? Oh,
Like wishing your life. I wish this, I wish that, I wish. You can wish anything. I wish we had more money. I wish we had a new car. I wish I lived in a mansion. You can wish your life away, but it's just empty. Just be happy with what God's given you. And you're not going to take it with you anyway. So you might as well just enjoy it.
right. I don't know how many times I've dreamed about something, from the time I was a little kid. I loved model cars, and they cost $2 to buy a model car. And I don't know how long I had to save up to get $2, but I would just be dreaming about which one I was going to buy. I just want to get that 25T kit there. It's a 3-in-1. You can make 3 different cars out of it and all that. And just thinking about, oh, I just can't, I have to get that. I can't wait till I get that. And then when I got it, built the cars, they went up on a shelf and out of my mind, so to speak. And then as I grew older, man, soon uh, we bought a Porsche Boxster when we lived in Phoenix, and it was just, wouldn't it be so cool to have that? And we rented one, drove it up to Grand Canyon and to see if we would like it, and man, we loved it. And so I started looking and just trying to find the best price, the best one. And I flew all the way to Detroit, Michigan, and drove it all the way back to get one. And then we had it after a while. What was it? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. But then every time something would go wrong with it, what would happen? It cost a fortune to get it fixed. And yeah, that really wasn't the answer. It was kind of okay. Okay, so that's what he means by that. It really, life doesn't really satisfy. It's empty. It does not satisfy. The only thing that can satisfy is what he comes to the conclusion at the end. Fear God, keep his commandments. Just enjoy what you have. If you can have that attitude, you'll make the very best out of this life under the sun. Which brings me to the next question. What is meant by the phrase under the sun?
While you're alive.
While you're on this earth.
Yeah.
Okay, while you're on this earth. Anything above the sun, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about life here on this earth. And so we don't want to get confused by when he says eat, drink, and be merry. Because it's like if you think that he's thinking spiritually there, obviously you're wrong, because the philosophers have said eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Just live it up, people. Do whatever you want to do because you're going to be dead and that's it.
Well, some people take the eat, drink, and be merry, eat, be drunk, and be rowdy. Instead of eat, drink, and be merry.
Be happy.
There's a certain, difference.
People have interpreted that largely eat till you weigh 400 pounds and drink until you
Can't drink no more.
can't drink no more, you're crawling on the ground or whatever, and be merry. Oh man, that was so fun. What'd you do last week? Oh man, we got drunk and oh, what did you do? Well, I don't remember, but we had fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but that's not that's what that's not what he means by eat, drink, and be merry. That's how we take it sometimes, though.
I used to be shocked at some of the women I worked with in Montana. They would obviously drink too much over the weekend and then, you know, they're telling everybody, oh, I drank too much. And then I was so sick. And I said, so you enjoyed but it was fun. They said, so you enjoyed your weekend hanging over a twig. Yeah. And I said, that does not sound fun.
Let's make a date to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I will seek it yet again, you know. And that's, you know,
It just didn't compute to me at all.
No.
right. Well, that's the thing. It really it's not the answer. That's not what life is about. It's not what men are about. There's another way. There's a much better way to enjoy life than to be a glutton and a wine bibber, as the Bible calls it. Uh, drinking your troubles away, that kind of thing. So yeah, life under the sun just means while you're here on this earth, the life that you live, that's what he's talking about over and over again. I don't know how many times, I didn't even count how many times he says under the sun or on earth or maybe some other phrases like it. Oh, yeah.
My notes are all in there. Yeah, at the beginning, you told us how many times these phrases
Oh,
were
okay.
used.
All right. Well, yeah, bottom line is we got to keep that in mind the whole time we're looking at this book of Ecclesiastes. He's talking about how to get the most out of life while you're living it here. Enjoy it. That's whatever you have, whatever God's given you, enjoy it. Okay, the next question. What is meant by the phrase there is no profit?
You're not gonna benefit.
Okay, benefit from just life in general, I mean.
What you collect.
Okay, and what is profit?
That's almost what you have.
Having more at the end than you had to start with.
Take that out.
That's
There is
that,
no problem.
that's the thing. That's why he says there is no profit. You don't end up with more than you started with. The day they bury you, you got the same thing as the day you came out of the womb. You started with nothing, you end with nothing, there's no profit. So all the collecting that you do in this life, what does that mean? What does it mean to you when you die? Nothing at all. It's vanity, it's emptiness. That's what he's talking about. This life is vanity. No matter, everything that you do does not mean a thing at the end as far as life under the sun, because you don't take it with you. It stays here and somebody else uses whatever you have left over. Barb?
Well, is it, I don't remember where it's at, but it's about the man who wanted to build more barns
Oh, yeah.
and. You know,
He says you fool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and all that you've built and gained in this world is just gonna be left for others.
Right. Yeah. This day your life is required. And we don't know when the end comes. To everything, there's a season, time for every purpose under heaven. There's a time to live, time to die.
This guy was planning for the next day, but he wasn't gonna have them.
Right. And you don't know. Was he enjoying each day? Probably.
Like,
He was too busy to think about it, you know. And so he took nothing, not even the enjoyment of life. That's what's meant by there's no profit. The only thing you get out of life is to use it as you have it. Enjoy what you have. I'm not getting more. I'm just enjoying right now. Right now, I'm just taking what God gives me and enjoying it, and just trusting in God. So that's what he means by no profit. And then last question, what is meant by the conclusion of the whole matter, or what is the conclusion of the whole matter?
Do the will of God.
Fear God and keep his commandments. This is everything. This is the whole of man. This is the sum total of your life, is to fear God and keep his commandments. If you don't do that, you're not accomplishing why God put you here, and you're not going to be happy in the long run, and you're not going to take anything with you when you die. Nobody's going to take anything with you when you die. If you don't enjoy what you have while you have it, life is nothing. It's not worth living. You haven't done what God put you here to do. Okay, so that is the conclusion of the whole matter. That's what the book of Ecclesiastes is about. Solomon setting about to find out what life is all about, and then finding out what it's all about is enjoying what you got while you have it, being thankful to God for whatever he has given you. He may give you riches and wealth and honor and that sort of thing. You enjoy that. Yeah, it's great to be a king. I'll enjoy that. But am I gonna set about to conquer the world and kill thousands of people and all that kind of stuff in the process? Is that going to make me happy? No, not going to make you happy. It's vanity. It's emptiness. So the conclusion is simply respect God, keep his will, do what he says, and enjoy what you have while you have it. That's his conclusion of the whole thing. And he's telling that to his son. Here's what you want to do with your life. Had Solomon done that?
To an extent.
To an extent he had, but he had lost sight of God, so to speak. He had let something come between him and serving God, and what was that?
All this women with their idolatry.
Okay,
This old idolatry, when you think about it, he lost his fear of God. He didn't respect God for who he is. And when you lose that fear, then you go on your own way. And you don't even fear the judgment day when all will stand before the judgment seat of God. And he forgets that knowledge that he was given. And that's a real key issue there, is mine.
right. Yeah, I mean, he decided that, okay, I want to find out how to be happy in this life. So he tried everything. He tried getting wealth. He tried power. He tried even using wisdom. Come on over, come. All these people, kings, queens from all over the place would come and bring him riches and everything, so he could give them advice. And he tried collecting women. Forget what it says he had 900 wives and 300 concubines, or whatever, or other way around. Anyway, there's a lot of women, and they were all, virtually all of them were from foreign nations, and he had this collection, but did it give him the happiness? Not really. In fact, it caused him a lot of grief in the long run. And so that is it's saying I tried it all, and I just went to excess on all of it. And was there any profit to it? No. I had more money than anybody else, but was I any happier than the guy that sat on the corner and didn't have hardly anything? All he could do was talk to his friends and enjoy a cup of coffee or whatever.
One of your, I should say, love your wives and
Mhm.
enjoy your family. You love your wife, not your 900.
Yeah.
There's
Or your concubines, yeah.
And there's no way you could keep it.
No,
Yeah, and if they're not happy, how happy are you gonna be? I mean, even with one wife, oh, I'm not even gonna say that.
We're good at that part, Carl.
Yeah. So bottom line is, all of us, feel free to enjoy the life that you have. You don't have to have a lot. You don't have to have more. If God blesses you, great, use it. You can enjoy the blessings he gives, maybe pass them along to other people or whatever, take some pleasure in helping other people to have pleasure, but whatever. But bottom line is God doesn't give everybody the same thing. He gives us all different amounts of stuff. But we don't look over at Joe and think, oh, he's got more than I got. Man, I gotta catch up with him. The old keep up with the Joneses kind of thing. You don't have to do that. And what does society tell us to do? And you got to keep up with the Joneses. Well, you don't have to. You just enjoy what you have while you have it. It's not being satisfied with what you have that causes wars and people going out and trying to take stuff that doesn't belong to them from other people, conquering or whatever. No, that's not how you get happy, Barb.
What's the word? I can't think of the word when you want what somebody else wants. What's that?
Covet.
covet,
Covet.
covet.
That's one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt.
Yeah, not covet. On a lot of the TV programs, it's always deals with a lot of that. Somebody wants what somebody else has gotten. They're gonna do whatever it takes to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick any of those series that you want to pick, Dallas or Peyton Place or any of that stuff.
Aging yourself.
Well, you got to say what's in your mind. I never watch any of those modern ones today, so I haven't a clue what's going on today, but they're all the same. And um, and that's just it. Nobody's ever happy in any of these shows. Right, Randy?
Okay, now, I asked the question, why did the book of Ecclesiastes appear after the book of Proverbs? And in both of those books, we're giving sayings that make up your mind who you want to be like. In other words, you can be a fool if you want to be, and this is what's the results. Or you can be discerning and say, I don't want to be this, I would choose to be this. So it does give us an avenue of choice in our lives of what we should be like and what we want to be like, and we can't tell each other. It's one of those things like I even figured out a little bit at the lectureship last week is we can't give each other faith, we can't give each other hope, but we can still love.
Yep.
That's what we can give to each other, but I can't tell Carl, you need my faith. No, you got your own. Carl, you need my hope. No, you got your hope. You know who it's grounded in, but you know it's grounded from the love of the Father.
Yep. Fear God, keep his commandments. That is really the whole of that's everything
Yeah.
to a person. So anyway, we'll conclude the book of Ecclesiastes with these thoughts. And what I wanted to do, and we're not going to have time to really get into it today, but since we're on the subject of Solomon and wisdom and everything, in the last chapter, it says that he wrote many proverbs. So the first 9 chapters of the book of Proverbs, he's telling why he's writing the Proverbs. For 9 chapters, he talks And then he says, now the Proverbs of Solomon from chapter 10 through 31, I guess it's 31. So a third of the book is not even Proverbs. A third of the book is telling, here's why I'm going to write Proverbs. Here's why I'm going to tell you about Proverbs. And you won't be surprised to find out the reason why. I'll save that till next week. But let me just look and see if there's anything we can talk about for 5 minutes. Well, when we looked at Ecclesiastes, we looked at the synopsis of the life of King Solomon. I'm not going to go through all of this stuff, but you got his birth and early life. There's a lot of things that happened with him, and we may talk about this next week, but there's all these things that happened through his life, one of which was asking for God giving him a choice, and he asked for wisdom. And well, I don't even know why I'm going through this. Yeah, it's going too fast. We'll look at it. What's that? I may have. I may have given. I think I gave you. There's another one. There's another thing here. I think I gave you. I think I gave you this. A printout, an outline of the life of King Solomon. It's the same kind of thing, only it's all on one page.
His reign was 40 years. Huh?
Yeah. His
So
reign.
he was old, probably when he died.
No, probably maybe 60.
Anyway,
If there may be a master copy back there, I'll look and see. If there's not, I'll print one and we can make copies, because yeah, it is kind of a nice thing to have, because it's got all the scriptures there for every event in his life. And so we'll start talking about Proverbs next week. And the plan right now is just to do the first 9 chapters. And that's because it's all about why the Proverbs. I think Sue went through Proverbs with the ladies, so I'm not going to overlap the Proverbs themselves, but unless I change my mind after we look at the first 9 chapters.